Good day to you, Jim Laird, joining you live from Diriamo, Nicaragua. Let us get going on Instagram here. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the things that I've seen trip up the vast majority of people that I've worked with. And honestly, in my career, um, people don't come to me because they're doing well. They come to me because they're frustrated. They're not happy with the results they're getting. They're in a bad place. They're usually like busy professionals, or usually hard charging women. They've got kids, they've got families, and they're not happy with the results that they're getting. And a big part of this is modern life. We're just so busy all the time. I like to compare modern life to getting in your car, starting it up, and revving the living hell out of the engine and never driving anywhere. Right. So we're not as physically active as we used to be, but we have this constant, chronic, low level stress that just doesn't go away. I mean, we're constantly connected. We're on our phones. Most people are like on their phone or talking on their phone or texting while they're eating meals. They're running the kids here. They're doing that. They're doing this. A lot of the women that come to me are extremely frustrated because they're not happy with their body composition or they have no energy. And a lot of this comes down to broken circadian rhythm, which we talked about yesterday, but also this low level chronic stress. A lot of the people that come to me end up tired but wired. So they're exhausted during the day. And then all of a sudden at night, when it's time for them to wind down and go to sleep, they all of a sudden become revved up and awake and alert. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to give you some simple solutions for solving this or getting this going in the right direction. Because if you don't, I'm not saying you shouldn't work hard. I love hard work. I'm just saying that the harder you work, the harder you have to rest. The harder you drive your car, the more you got to take it to the shop and get oil changes and tires rotated. And you got to make sure your wheel alignment's in a good place and your brakes work, right? Same thing with life. The life is so busy. People rarely take the time to relax and recharge. So I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm just saying work hard and rest hard so you can continue to work hard. You just need to make some deliberate decisions to make time for relaxation, to make time for, and there are going to be seasons in life where you work extra hard. But most of the people that have coming to me, they've gotten away with it for a long time. Now they're not in a good place. Now we have to make some changes to go in another direction. So what a lot of people don't realize is the more stress you're under, okay, the more sensitive you become to stress. You almost become like overreactive to it, right? And then certain parts of your brain downregulate, so you become better at handling stress and you lose a lot of like long-term memory capacity, right? Your body's more focused on survival. And stress, cortisol has a great side effect. You can be extremely focused. You can get a lot of work done. That's why a lot of people fall into kind of that procrastination habit because they let it go to the last minute, and then they have all this stress, and it allows them to get the job done, right? So that's an easy loop to get caught up into, but it affects digestion. It affects fertility, reproduction, hormone production, everything you could possibly imagine. Body composition, your ability to regulate appetite, all comes down to stress. Right? Mood disorders, like you're more likely to have anxiety or depression if you're under a high amount of stress. So we know stress is an issue, and some people will say use exercise to manage stress, but a lot of people will then go drink an energy drink and go to a spinning class, get yelled at for 45 minutes, and deplete the tank even more instead of maybe doing Tai Chi or walking or lifting. Anytime I have somebody who's under a ton of stress, they got an autoimmune disease, they're in a bad place, it comes down to walking, Tai Chi, lifting weights, no intense conditioning for a while. And then most of the people that come to me are type A, hard charging people. As soon as they start feeling better, they step on that gas right away. I always use the analogy with people. The kind of person that comes to me for help or guidance is basically if I had an axe and I left this person in a forest, I said, I need 2 trees cut down. I'll be back in a couple hours. I come back with the type A person. There's like 40 trees on the ground when I come back. And they're like, well, I just cut the 2 down and I had nothing to do. And so I cut all the other trees down as well. There's certain personality types that happens to. Okay. So we've got to teach people like you want to do enough to get better, but not so much that you end up, setting yourself back for weeks on end. So having somebody who's a hard worker and overachiever, teaching them how to dial it back and to slow down and relax is huge, a big issue. Now, here's a couple of the tools. I was addicted to stress. Like I couldn't function without like high levels of stress. That was just the way my brain worked. You get used to feeling it's like kind of like driving on the Autobahn. If you're used to driving 160 miles an hour and then you have to drive through a school zone, which is like 10 miles an hour or 15 miles an hour, it feels really uncomfortable. So if you're used to flying around by the seat of your pants, like if you're used to being in a combat zone, you're not going to feel comfortable being in a library. So there is something binaural beats can help kind of reset, calm you down, teach you how to like relax. I use the float tank. There's also something called brain mapping, EMDR therapy, neurofeedback is what I'm talking about originally. They'll play binaural beats and things to help your brain learn how to calm down and be okay with being relaxed. A lot of people that are super type A have a hard time deregulating and downregulating. So we can use tools like that. I like a 10-minute non-sleep deep rest. Uberman has a great one, or a yoga nidra. I usually do one of those every afternoon. I literally will take a few minutes after my calls and I'll sit over here in my rocking chair and I'll put the tongue in the roof of my mouth and I'll breathe through my nose. I'll slow my breathing right down. Some people will say like, do like an inhale, exhale, whatever. If you're on a bus or you're out in public somewhere, you're not going to be able to go, you just slow your breathing down and just slow your breathing down, breathe in and out through your nose, and you can just feel yourself calm down. If you are not in an area where you can do exhales, you don't feel like, doing that in public, just put tongue in the roof of your mouth, slow your breathing down. You'll feel your trap in your neck relax, right? So that's, 10-minute non-sleep deep rest. I love the 10-minute walks because I tell people all the time, the walks are not for exercise. They're not for burning calories. They're for getting out in nature and relaxing and flowing. And if you want to walk hard for exercise, that's totally fine. Just set aside a few minutes a day for the nice, easy stroll where the song Playing Alive is playing and you're just strolling along and you're smooth. You can see your thumbs swinging out of the corner of your eye. Your hips are turning this way, your upper body's turning the opposite way. And it's just like, and you're relaxed. The tongue's in the roof of your mouth. You're just observing everything. You feel good. You're looking at the birds. I live in a rainforest, so it's great to be able to go for a walk and relax and not be focusing on like, getting my heart rate up or anything like that. And then, of course, you need the sunshine too. Getting in nature. There's studies where they've done just having pictures of nature in an office make people feel better and reduce stress. So imagine if you actually get outside and get into nature on a daily basis. And then in the evening, getting the lights off at night, getting away from the screens. Maybe you need, some holy basil or something like that to kind of take the edge off, or some magnesium. But, getting away from the doom scrolling and the death scrolling, reading. I like to use a red light lamp on my forehead, and reading a real book is a great way to relax and chill yourself out. I fall into this. I'll have moderate to low, or moderate to high stress all day. And then my day will be over and I'll start like watching too many things on my phone. And all of a sudden I see my data, my stress goes up instead of me deliberately winding down. So like slowing down, chewing your food up, like making sure your meals are about putting the phone away, slowing down, chewing your food up. And then the evening, getting the lights off and having a wind down routine. A brain dump about an hour or two before bed really helps. So, people that come to me, they usually are working hard. They're usually training decently hard. They have really busy lives. That's what my main clientele has been. So I need to teach them how to relax. As Paul Chek would say, teach them how to work in so they can work out. We need to take your car to the shop. We need to do some work on it so you can drive it hard. And if somebody does pull in front of you, you slam on the brakes and your car stops. The last thing we want to do is slam on the brakes and you don't have brakes, or you go to step on the gas and the car doesn't go because you've basically driven it to the point where it's not optimal anymore. So if you want to have a fully functioning, high functioning body that's able to handle lots of stress, you need to, expose it to the appropriate amount of stimulation. But you also need, the harder you push your body, the harder you need to rest. And that's something that a lot of people just really ignore. And they're just like, well, I'm just going to work harder. I'm going to try harder. The funny thing is if you add rest time into your days, the work that you will do is much more high quality and much more focused and efficient. So we have a sponsor for the show, Pharaoh, my good friend Charles Mayfield. It's a lard product, but you can look up online. Actually, I'll put it in the description below. If you're on YouTube, or if you're on Instagram, I'll put a description about Pharaoh online about how good lard is for your skin. I actually have a jar of it. I forgot to bring it out here, but I even get it shipped down here to me in Nicaragua. It's one of the few things that make my feet do better. I have my feet, skin on my heels and stuff is horrible, but the Pharaoh has really helped with that. So Pharaoh is sponsoring this channel. You can look him up. You just go to pharaoh.shop. If you use the discount code JIM15, you'll get 15% off. So you can also join my men's group, vitalitybrotherhood.com. You can also join my women's group, vitalitysisterhood.com. I do weekly calls. You can get on a call with me, ask questions. If you're serious about seriously changing your life, if you're not in a good place, you don't like where you're at, I'd love to help you out. Just you can go to Vitality Brotherhood, and at the top it'll say coaching. If you're on Instagram, you can comment coaching in the comments after this is posted. During the live, it won't work. But Vitality Brotherhood, you can tap on coaching, and it will take you to where you can set up a call for me, and we can get you in one of our men's or women's group coaching. Or I do individual coaching as well. So whatever works best for you. I'd love to help you with accountability and setting up a simple process for you. So I hope you have yourself a great day. And just in summary, I'm not telling you need to become a Buddhist monk, but you need to get enough relaxation and silence, to steal a term from Psalms, be still and know. There needs to be enough rest and relaxation, just like you need to take your car to get an oil change or to get maintenance done on it so you can drive it and drive it effectively. Their body's no different. You need to take your body into the shop, whether that's, if you're a super hard charging person, if you want to do float tank or massage or acupuncture once a week to get in extra rest time. Little naps are great. A lot of it's just figuring out what works best for you. Maybe you need to hire some people or outsource some things to other folks. But that's basically the bottom line. And that's generally what I do. I help you come up with an actionable plan, because that's really the name of the game. You're much better off doing one or two things, like putting the tongue in the roof of your mouth and slowing your breathing down, or going for the 10-minute walks and relaxing, than having all these elaborate things that you don't do any of. So keep it simple. Pick a couple simple things. You'll be surprised if you just take a few minutes to sit quietly, slow your breathing down a couple times a day, particularly if you have an Oura ring. I am shocked by, 1 10-minute non-sleep deep rest a day with people, and they do it consistently, makes a massive, massive difference on data over time, because stress affects everything: blood pressure, blood sugar, everything. So if you can manage stress, get outside, do a little more relaxation, you're going to get better gains in the gym, and you're also going to have a better body composition. And if I told people just go out and do more intervals, everybody would be like, oh, I'll do more intervals. When I tell people the best thing they can do is slow down, relax, and take a little better care of themselves, it's almost like they feel guilty. Well, it can't be that simple. It can't be that simple. I've got to do something really hard and difficult in order to get better. And a lot of times, the best thing you can do to get better is to eat real food, get your sleep, get your rest, and you'll see the difference in a very short period of time. And I think people almost feel guilty about that. So we'll see you again tomorrow. It should be, I was a little later today than I would have liked, but I had 2 calls. I just got off 2 coaching calls that had been set up a couple weeks ago, and I didn't realize it when I picked my 2 o'clock Eastern time. So I should be on here tomorrow, closer to 2 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see. But I guarantee you, I'm going to go live every day from now on, and I'm going to be consistent with that. So take care. Have yourself a great day, and we will see you soon.